Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
The city of Farmington hard hit by trees down all over the area. There's supposed to be a parking space underneath this one, and this is nothing. Coming up, we'll show you what some homeowners are dealing with tonight.
Also, we're seeing widespread damage, large trees blocking roads in neighborhoods all across Metro Detroit. In Clinton Township, the strong winds brought down a concrete wall.
Yeah, here's a look at the current DTE power outage map. Right now, there are more than 124,000 DTE customers without power, and you can see a lot of outages in Oakland and Macomb counties. DTE says they have more than 200 crews out in the field working to restore power. Down
power lines also brought traffic to a standstill on I-275 near Grand River, right in the middle of the afternoon rush. There's new drone video that shows traffic backed up for miles. I-275, though, has since reopened in both directions. State police, though, say it will have to be shut down again in the future to repair the wires.
Well, despite the widespread damage, fortunately, no reports of any serious injuries.
So let's kick off our coverage here on our late edition of Local 4 News at 11 with Ben. Ben, are we in the clear now?
We are, at least for right now, Devin and Kim. We've got some showers and thunderstorms out there, but this is not quite at severe limits, and we don't expect it to be, at least for the rest of tonight. Let's go to Storm Tracker 4. You can see a lot of stuff sort of around the edges. A lot more starting to get going a little bit further back to the west. You can see some showers and even some lightning strikes out there coming in off the lake. But by the time that gets here, we're expecting to see mostly rain, and a lot of this is going to be confined to our north zone as we get started in the morning hours. But you can see overnight, showers and thunderstorms will be with us, becoming a little bit more numerous, especially as we get towards the 3-4 o'clock hour. Not a lot of breaks here as we go through the day, but again, a lot of this is going to be north of 8 Mile until we get into the afternoon hours. Then as the front starts to sink, that's when we're going to start to see a little bit more activity start to make it into the metro zone, and we'll be watching especially a lot of those areas on the east side. Those are the thunderstorms that could potentially be severe. That's why we do have a marginal risk for severe weather for at least just part of the area as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. So we'll be watching that very carefully in the second half. We don't anticipate a repeat of what we saw today, but we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled for strong storms. But a lot of good news in the forecast beyond that, and we'll discuss that in just a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben. So we've been scouring the area. One of the hardest hit that we've seen is Farmington.
That's right. The city is warning residents of several downed power lines and wires and asking people to stay away until DTE can fix them. There are also several trees down in the area as well. And as Jason Colthorpe reports, some very big ones.
Part of the beauty of living here on Longacre out in Farmington is the seclusion, but also the big old trees that you just don't see in newer subdivisions. The downside is when heavy wind and rain blow through, this is what can happen.
They're just so old and so deep-rooted that they just tore right out of the ground. It's just crazy how deep the roots go.
Chris Inch and his wife heard the wind come through and then an eerie quiet, followed by the sound of transformers blowing up.
It almost looks tornado-like or like a wind shear or something. I don't know, but it really did a ton of damage.
He already has a tree removal service here for a very big job.
They're like dinosaurs. They're just huge and old, and it's just crazy to see them like in this shape.
My car was underneath the tree.
Ori Milazzo owns the Bronze Clipper Barbershop on Grand River and 10 Mile.
We had hail, we had 50, 60 mile an hour wind and rain you couldn't even see. You know, I owned a barbershop over here and we couldn't even see outside to see it. Then when I looked out and I said, oh my God, the tree fell on my car.
So I was sitting in there waiting for a haircut with Ari, and the rain just started coming down. It was going in circles, low pressure outside his shop, sucked the door open. Oh man, when the rain started clearing, that's when we saw, oh, the trees are gone.
One unfortunately fell where Ori has parked his car every day for years.
It's still drivable and everybody is safe. That's the main thing.
That is the important thing for sure. And here's a good look at that tree that did come down. In fact, in the plaza next to this, there's a whole storefront that's pushed in. It's made of glass, but we haven't been able to confirm that is from the wind alone. And it does bear repeating that warning about power lines being down. Just standing out here, there's a whiff of something burning on the air, and there was someone checking the power lines here. If you take a look, if you just want to show this tree here, when this one came down, it clipped the power lines here, and there's still some of the trees up in there. So a lot of power outages, a lot of intersections that are also out, so people need to exercise some caution when they approach those as well. We're live in Farmington tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Okay, Jason, thank you. Again, right now we have about 124,000 DTE customers without power. We will have updates from DTE throughout the night on clickondetroit.com and Local 4 News today beginning at 4:30 a.m.
Night storm damage and massive power outages come as thousands of homeowners are still cleaning up from last month's historic flooding. Larry Spruill live tonight. Larry, dozens of Detroit residents met tonight on the west side of the city to voice their frustration with the way the city's responded to this.
And good evening, Devin. Many people I talked to say the last couple of weeks have been stressful. That's because they were busy cleaning up their homes and basements from the flooding. Now they are asking the city to pitch in. The aftermath and the frustration from recent storms that covered most of Detroit still felt by many, especially in District 7.
All last week was so hard. It was just, I can't even describe to you how we felt.
Eva Carter lives in District 7 and showed me some of the flood damage to her home.
The water came to like the first step, so that's almost about a foot. There's damage to the sofa because that's a rec room for us. And everything down there was a mess.
Carter is one of the 40-plus District 7 residents who met for a neighborhood meeting Wednesday night, asking, begging, and demanding help from the city.
We have low income, we have seniors, and we have children with underlying diseases. With mold building up and feces in your basement, we need some kind of professional help.
Bobby Johnson, the vice president of the Community Advisory District 7 Council, is asking everyone with damage to document it, hoping FEMA or the city will provide financial assistance.
I believe that in each household that we can range from anywhere from $3,500 direct payment to $2,500.
State Senator Sylvia Santana says she's fighting for the people she represents.
When you look at the $10 million that was allocated for cleanup, it's a drop in the bucket. In comparison to a man-made disaster that happened in Midland, where we spent over $72 per person, which is around $68 million.
And we are told that FEMA leaders are expected to tour the area sometime this week. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
So FEMA visiting, are people hopeful they're going to get the help they need then?
And so, Devin, I asked many people that very question tonight. Some say that many say that they are hoping that FEMA will help out, but they are not hopeful. Devin?
Difference in the two. All right, Larry.
A part of I-94 in Macomb County is closed as the investigation continues into a freeway shooting. Eastbound I-94 is closed from 11 to 12 Mile. State police tell us 2 drivers got into a road rage incident and they sideswiped each other before one driver shot at the other. One driver was taken into custody after reporting a hit and run. The shot didn't hit the driver or their car. Meanwhile, a manhunt is underway on Detroit's west side for a suspect wanted in connection to a deadly shooting. Police are looking for 26-year-old Parrish Van Pelt for the shooting near McNichols and Livernois. A man was killed and a woman was also shot. Police believe the shooter may have barricaded himself into a home but did not find him. He's believed to be armed and dangerous.
Governor Whitmer signing a supplemental spending bill into law. The bipartisan bill allocates a state record $16.7 billion to schools, including $4 billion in federal COVID relief.
I'm proud to be here today to sign this bill because this is about critical investment in our kids, in our teachers, in our parapros, in administration, and all of the different pieces that make public education work for our children. And I'm excited about this because this pandemic's been hard. It's been hard on every single one of us. And as resilient as we know our kids are, there's no question that they too have felt the strain of the last year in particular.
The money will go toward hiring more school nurses and counselors. It also directs millions to support students who need extra help reading.
Well, it'll be a little tricky to get around Metro Detroit this weekend. That's because both directions of I-75 are going to close from 8 Mile all the way to Square Lake Road for bridge work. The closure begins at 11 Friday night and runs through Monday morning at 5. MDOT says the best alternative route is Woodward.
Vice President Kamala Harris has rescheduled her trip to Detroit. She was supposed to visit last week, but it was postponed after the flooding. Now the vice president will be visiting the area on Monday. Not clear exactly where she will be yet, but she is expected to urge Michiganders to get the COVID vaccine.
Still ahead, a driver at a red light is attacked with fireworks.
The damage it caused and the message that driver has for the people responsible coming up.
And as the death toll climbs in South Florida, crews are now beginning a big transition at the site of the condo collapse near Miami.
But first, an explosion sends a fireball into the sky at one of the biggest ports in the world. What caught fire? Next.